Can you hear me?
Yo, yep, can hear you just fine. Alright, so we're finally ready to get started. Okay, so we're gonna do about the same that I did with Ed's lesson.
Yeah.
We're gonna start the session with four stocks, sparring.
Just to test.
Just to see how you deal with certain different playstyles.
All right. Makes sense.
All right, let's go.
Are you ready?
Oh Jesus, like.
Is it okay? No.
I mean, it's good except for when it spikes.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good look for you at all there.
That is something I do all the ways.
All right. Just give me a moment to write some notes.
Running to that smash note.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going in the notes because that's very indicative of the issue you have.
Dang.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Very nice. By the way, for those of you in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and post the link to the notes so you guys can follow along.
Oh, can I actually follow it up myself? Ran head first, it didn't charge up, you know?
Hey man, I gotta say it as it is. Alright, so.
So you said 4 stocks, right?
Yeah, so one more.
Okay.
And then another one after that. Let's go.
Oh, I see. You switched for 4 playstyles.
This lag is saving your life on multiple occasions.
I'm used to it. I'm a full warrior. Damn, that was supposed to be a kill from you.
Oh jeez.
Damn, that lag. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay, I saw my mistake from that. Yeah.
Alright. One more. Is there anything you can do to reduce the lag, by the way? Because the lag's not too bad until it spikes. It feels like someone else is like using the internet. Maybe you could stop the stream if you're leaving it on in the background.
Yeah, the stream is in the background.
Yeah, pause that.
Hold on, I have like 20 windows open, so let me close a few. Let me close Steam, for example. I have a couple of stuff in the background.
Yeah, anything that might be a tag that, like a YouTube video or any active downloads, any torrents, any pornography, you know, just turn
I
it
don't
off.
live alone at that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, this is good. Just accept internet. Well, I only have Discord open now.
Okay. Let's try to make it happen then.
Want me to go to ask them to not download or something?
Yeah, just ask if they can ease up on the internet usage for an hour.
Give me 5 minutes, boys.
Okay. In the meantime, how you guys doing? While we wait for HM here to get his internet situation sorted out a little bit better. If you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to ask, whether it's regarding the lesson or regarding anything else. I'm sure you guys will something in the meantime. A little bit of a plug. When I was at CEO, it was a shirt that I purchased that finally arrived. It's the shirt that I'm wearing right now. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the big screen. Just take a look at that good right here. I'm gonna no, that's in the way. Hold on. Get that out of there. Okay. So, it's a beautiful thing. Look at it. It's amazing. I love it. That way. There we go.
This is the most that I can do right now. Is the lag still spiking?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it is.
if it's the best we can do, then it's the best we can do. It's alright.
I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. Alright. Let's go.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes I miss my input as well.
I mean, it's Wi-Fi. There's this much lag, it's expected. I thought I'd be in range no matter where you rolled.
Okay. Mistake. I was going for air dodge.
You have a lot of lag out of that FADC. You weren't in a good position for that.
You know, I never really tried playing offline. I'm really used to online.
Is there no active local scene?
Well, the closest that I have is 1 hour away.
I used to travel for an hour all the time to get to the tournaments that I was at. Just gotta make the trip. Maybe if you find someone else who needs to travel for an hour, you can carpool with them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know one in my town who plays competitively Smash Brothers. So
You gotta get in touch with like the local Facebook group in the area. Try to ask the people who are involved in the scene. Yeah, that's how you get started. Anyways, so let me see. Okay, so this might be a product of the way that your kit is shaped, but I feel like you mostly play a passive playstyle, a passive offense. You're a very
offense.
Yeah, you're a very offensive player, for sure. But you don't generally try to invade the opponent's area that much. Generally, you try to play reactively, waiting for the opponent to come in, and then you try to wall them out and rush them down from there. You don't overextend as much as I thought you would.
Okay.
Like, for example, you're not going to come at me and, like, run at me and attack
I'm not going to approach fair because I know it's not safe on shield.
Exactly. But if I'm this close, you're gonna jump and you're gonna throw out a nair.
I'm gonna go away a nair or stand in place nair.
Well, I mean, you also approach with nair, but the point is you're doing so when I'm this close to you because you can wall me out like that. You won't do it when I'm over here.
Well,
You'll do it when
I would go for a tilt or down tilt. Like from your distance, a down smash connects.
Yeah.
From there, well, I think from there it's still reactable. If I see your approach, I can immediately back out.
Yeah. Point is, you prefer to intercept me than to rush me down. So, let's talk about the different stocks here that we played. So
first one is passive.
The first one I played passively, yeah. Essentially, at that point, I felt like I initially wrote that you were playing rushdown, but you were just playing offense. I feel like at that point you were just full-on autopilot trying to ram straight into me because I was in your zone. You kept trying to push into me.
Yeah, that's when I noticed that I was in the pilot when I ran into that smash. That was a bad one. Can you DM me Discord the notes, please?
Of course, I will do so right now.
I'm not keeping the rest open. There you go.
Okay. So let's see, where do we go from here? In general, I feel that the way that you play is rather unadaptive. As you can tell.
You mean that I just don't look at my opponent enough?
Pretty much. It's what you were talking about with your lack of awareness.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main things that you want to work on. So let's talk a little bit about that. I feel like in order to start, let's lay down the way that let's lay down the floor plan, the stage that we're dealing with right now.
Oh, there's a platform that goes just a bit higher from the platform.
Yeah.
Oh, even further.
Well, I mean in general, not like this stage specifically.
Okay.
So, we have this this terrain right now, and there's a lot of space between you and me.
Is general the former founder of this nation.
Yeah. Essentially, from this position, because there's a lot of space between us, you can do anything you want, and I can't really punish you for it. I can do anything I want, and you can't really punish me for it.
That's when I like to throw out equinitors.
Or it's like when people would usually try to close the distance so that they can interact. But the point is, right here, this position that we're in right now, this is the neutral.
For sure.
From here, we have all of our options available to us. So, making things a little bit more interesting is when we get a little bit closer. And the spheres...
Just like that is when actions are made, for sure.
So, let me actually put the microphone just in case people can't hear me that well right now. So, right now, different characters have different speeds, different ranges, different frame data, different attributes. And these all form together to create this sphere of influence around the character, where they can throw out an attack before the opponent can react.
I can see the dash grab from there.
Yeah, right here, you can't react to my dash grab.
No.
But like from over here, if we weren't on Wi-Fi, you'd be able to react.
Yeah, I'll just jump back up.
Or spot dodge, or roll, or whatever. So, different attacks have different unreactable zones, but you can create this bubble around the person that kind of shows everything that it's at. So, right now, since you are a slower character, your unreactable zone is smaller than mine, even though you have some big hitboxes. So, as a result, you generally wouldn't want to be playing at this range that I'm at right now, because at this range, you can't react to what I do, but I can react to what you do.
Is it better that I try to put myself at that range for my tilts? Or
it is better, but
farther?
not quite for that reason. It's better because it's something that I'm going to talk about very soon. Right now I'm talking about stage advantage and everything that goes into it. So I'll get to that in a moment. In general, what I'm trying to get on in terms of this is the spacing game. I want to make that does go into your thing. So yeah, we'll say you want to get here, but that's not the only place you want to get. You want to get anywhere that you can keep me in like this entire bubble area that you can control. You want to be there, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to be at a frame disadvantage, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. But let's talk in more general terms right now. I'm just defining that right now so that you have an idea of how to look at the character. Just imagine a bubble around Mario that goes about to the range you're standing.
Yeah, that I can see.
And a similar bubble around Ryu, but slightly smaller. About to where the villager is.
Oh, okay. Oh, because of my dash attack.
Yeah. So, using these bubbles, you have, like, the area inside your bubble is the area of the stage that you control.
Yeah.
The area of the bubble behind you that you're denying to your opponent is like an indirect sort of stage control. It's like a resource that you can use. In my case, I have the entire stage behind me. You have the entire blast zone behind you. You don't have much stage control at all.
Well, from earlier, from the lesson I was at earlier, you were already explaining about the cross-ups and things like that.
Yeah, from the ed lesson. So when I'm in this position, if you try to approach into me, I can back off. But if I try to approach into you, you can't back off. You can only push into me or stay in the place you're at.
I can only rush.
The only thing you can do to back off would be to go on the platform, which is what's really good about Smashville. That's a big reason what makes this a neutral stage. Because from this position, like you can just land on the platform and hold shield, and you get back in neutral for free.
Setting is a full out, doesn't cover the platform.
Yeah. So maybe not that good for you, but I mean, still, it's not a bad position. If you're locked in a corner, you can get back in. Not every character can take advantage of that, but it's a very powerful resource to have on Smashville. But we're not ignore that for now. In terms of general stage control, I have this area as a resource. I can move back, and I can move as far back as I have space. That much is obvious. So generally, when it comes to abusing the stage that you have, your goal is to take control of the stage because it limits the things that your opponent can do. In my case, I can move backwards, but you can't, so I'm limiting what you can do. That's one of the major resources that you have in Smash. One of the major advantages that you can gain. The other one is the first one is stage advantage, or positional advantage, stage control, and the second one is frame advantage. Now, when we're in a position like this, where we can both do anything we want, you actually have a bit of a frame advantage over me.
Yeah, I can just down smash and it's like 4 frames, I think.
Well, I mean, not so much down smash, but like all your other attacks, like down tilt, up tilt, your nair being really fast and having almost no landing lag. Like, you have a lot of good attack. And Mario's no slouch when it comes to frame data either, so your advantage isn't that big. But the point is, you get a lot more reward from it. The attacks that give you so much reward are faster than the attacks that Mario has, so you have a bit of frame advantage there.
Alright.
So, in general, because of that, being in my face is really good for you, because you do better in my face than I do if you're in my face.
Well, the first thing the fastest option Mario has at that point is a short up nair, I think.
No. Short hop nair is frame 7.
Alright.
Mario can grab you, that's frame 6. Mario can down tilt, that's frame 4. Mario can jab, that's frame 2. But jab doesn't give much reward. Down tilt only sometimes gives reward. Like, I can down tilt, grab you at a slightly higher percent. I can grab you, but that's it. Now, meanwhile, Ryu can, like, down tilt. The soft down tilt. And you can get so much reward from that. You can soft up tilt, and you can get so much reward from that. And those are both, like, what, frame 2?
Yeah, all of it's frame 2.
Exactly. So you have a significant frame advantage.
And sometimes what I like to do, which is really a bad idea sometimes, is just a show you can, just because of the invincibility.
That's a noob slayer. That's all it is. I guess an experienced player, it's not going to work very often.
Because as weird as it is, I really get punished. People try to punish my limb lag, which is none.
And then you sure you can again, right? But personally, if you did that to me, and if you did that in a position that I was able to hit you, I just forward smash as you land, or before you land.
This was always a bad decision for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works, but...
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
Alright.
The entire lesson that Ed had is something that's going to be very valuable for you as well, and I'm going to touch on it in just a moment. But first, I really want to talk about these advantages, because this is what lays down the entire flow of battle. This is what determines neutral advantage and disadvantage. When you have more advantages over your opponent has less options available. If they have less options, then they're at a disadvantage. If you have more options, you're at an advantage.
Yeah, pretty legit. And from there, that's when I can actually use the strength of my character.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So-
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about neutral. I feel like that's one of the big areas that you're struggling in right now.
Yeah.
Is because in the way that you were playing there, it was very easy for me to consistently get an edge off of you. When you take advantage, you do decently with it, or rather, when you win neutral, you do decently with it in the moment, but you're unable to hold your advantage. You can take advantage, you can get good reward in the moment, but holding advantage is a little tricky for you.
This is something that I believe I told you at the beginning as well. So
Yeah.
this is something that I know of.
So I'm gonna write a quick note on that. Neutral weak advantage bursts. Good at the initial combos and pressure. I misspelled initial. Bad at holding advantage.
Yeah.
Disadvantage. Decent.
I would say pretty much when I'm on my disadvantage, I try always to go back to neutral. It's not something I think of, but it's just getting balanced stage is my priority.
Yeah, and that's what you're supposed to do. That's good. That's why your disadvantage is decent. Your neutral is weak, but your disadvantage, you're doing a decent job there. The only issue is like things like when you did that focus attack on top of me, and you put yourself in that much lag. That was pretty bad. But besides that, it wasn't bad. You played well.
I'm so mad that I ran into the up smash.
In the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about different playstyles that your opponent might use in neutral, because this is where awareness comes in. Awareness of the opponent is in two things.
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm cutting you down always.
No, it's fine. You got something to say? Go ahead.
I noticed along the way that we were doing the forest stocks. You didn't tell me anything about why you were doing the forest stock yet. I somehow knew that you were going for different styles as we were playing each stocks.
Oh.
And if I'm able to notice the styles, then it's only a means to adapt, right?
Usually I would tell the person why I did that, but you saw the lesson that it did was Ed, and I told him, so I assumed you already knew. And besides that, you saw the notes. Usually the people that I'm doing the lesson for don't see the notes.
Mm-hmm.
So, as usually I use that for my own reference more than the opponent's, so I know how to frame the lesson. And what I gathered from that was the playstyle that you used, the way that you reacted to each playstyle. So what I want to do is I wanted to break down those playstyles a little bit and try to get you to recognize and know what you have to do when you encounter someone who uses that playstyle.
All right.
So let's talk about passive, because that seemed to be the one that you struggled with the most.
Yeah, that's what I told you at the beginning.
Which is interesting because you use a passive offense yourself. You shouldn't be struggling that much with it.
Usually, when I go online, any player who goes on rushdown, that's when I do best. I think.
Yeah, you destroy rushdown with the way you play it. Okay, so what defines a passive playstyle?
Is waiting for that's bait and punish.
Yeah, it's two-part, sort of. What defines a passive playstyle is position. If I am away from you at a reactable distance, then I am playing passively. That's it. I could be in this position, I could be playing offensively or defensively, it doesn't matter. Like, I could be waiting for you to approach and then spacing out a back air, reacting to what you do, or I could be holding shield, or like trying to react with a defensive option. Either way, I'm playing passively, and they both win and lose to the same things.
Let's say that I go for falling near. Usually, people will go for shield.
Yes.
And that's from then. That's when I put myself at a disadvantage right away.
Yes. We could talk about that. Well, there's multiple things that go into that. So you said you jump into the opponent and you go in with a nair and they block it, right?
Yeah, it's as simple as a block.
Now, why did they block?
Neutral.
Why did they block?
Because it was how can I say it? Drawn already, like an attack that you can see coming from miles away.
Yeah, it was telegraphed.
Yeah,
not only was it telegraphed, but it was reactable. Like they came at you from the distance in the air. Now think about that a little deeper. Why is it telegraphed when you jump at someone with nair? Because yes, it is telegraphed, but why?
Because I fall off.
Okay, and why is a full hop telegraphing an attack?
Because, but thinking about it logically, if I full up, going for a tomahawk is just a bit more reckless. It's not something that someone would actually expect.
It's not that deep. Essentially, when you're in the air, you have a certain amount of options. You can attack, you can air dodge, you can use a special move, or you can do nothing.
And I think the reason why it was such telegraphed is because I don't have any airspeed. If I commit forward, I go forward. I can't do anything.
Well, I mean, even if I came at you like with a lot of airspeed, like Shulk in jump bar jumping across to you from the entire stage, it's still telegraphed.
Yeah.
Even in speed art, it's still telegraphed. The point is that when your opponent is in the air, it's telegraphed to use an attack because it's the intuitive thing to do from that position, and it's highly rewarding. If you land on me with nair, you start a combo, and you get really good reward. Like, you can nair chain someone to the other side of the stage and down air. Or at low percent, you can nair to up tilt and get some solid damage off of that. That's why it's telegraphed. Because it's the obvious choice. And the reason it's the obvious choice is because it's easy to do, and it gives you a lot of reward. So, playing into that, you start seeing an entirely new game develop. I'm kind of skipping around a step here, but you brought up a very important point that I want to go into more detail. This is a concept called yomi.
Yomi.
It's a Japanese concept meant to break down individual situations and deal with the possibilities in a counter, like in a way that you can counter what the opponent does. So let's break down this position. You come at me with a nair.
Yeah.
That's right. That is Yomi level 0. You are the attacker. You come in and you hit me with a nair. That's like the obvious choice. That's you initiating the decision, and I get hit. Yomi level 1 is the counterattack. This falls on me. I see you coming at me with a nair, and I block it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get it. Level 3 would be me anticipating that you go for shield.
Exactly. Level 2 would be anticipating that I go for shield. And what would you do there? Alright, that's good.
That, or actually, I don't know if it works. Let me see.
At that point, I can react.
I would have to commit it. So.
Yeah, so the empty hop grab is a good one. Or you could even, like, pressure shield. Like, you could do, like, landing down tilt or something like that.
Yeah, what if I was to go for that instead?
Let's try it.
Instead of just falling there. Well, Nair has no life, but I think it's pretty safe to go in.
It's like frame 5, yeah. You might be able to. Try it.
Man, what if I do the strong hit?
There you go. So that's a way to avoid the situation entirely. That right there is called a frame trap.
Yeah.
A lot of Smash players refer to frame trap as trapping an air dodge.
I was actually there for the conversation.
Yeah. essentially, for the viewers at home, of what a frame trap is in a traditional fighting game is a window of a perceived window of vulnerability that you use as a bait. In this case, on block. So in this case, Ryu's Nair is safe on shield because it has low lag, but because it's a landing aerial, it doesn't look safe. So I try to block it, and if you use your Nair close, it's not about hitting with the hard Nair, it's about doing it close to the ground.
Yeah.
The closer to the ground you do it, the safer it is. If you do it
Because
close to the ground, and
I
you...
go for... I'm sorry, I'll still... Go continue.
Yeah, it's something you have to practice. But essentially, if he does a Nair close to the ground, then I see a landing aerial, I try to punish with the shield grab. And what he does there is he intercepts the shield grab with his down tilt. That right there is a classic frame trap. Because he is trapping, he is using his frame advantage as a baited trap in order to get me to try to counterattack and then intercepting me. In a traditional fighting game, usually this would score a counter hit. But in this game, you just win the exchange.
And from there, well, just that, it's like...
Yeah, you already won. Like, shield doesn't do anything in this situation. But for the sake of the example, let's pretend that doesn't exist. Let's pretend you don't have a frame trap to deal with the situation.
Okay, so I did the too early Nair, for example.
Yeah, you did the too early Nair, and you know that I'm going to shield. So, next time you come in with the empty hop grab.
What if I was to cross
If you
up?
Nair... Oh, if you cross up, then, I mean, I could still punish you. Just with another out of shield option. Like, I could up smash out of shield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, Yomi level 1 is me shielding. Yomi level 2 is you empty hop grabbing.
Yeah.
Yomi level 3 is me anticipating the empty hop grab and going for a ballsy play. So when you jump at me... Well, I could go for an aerial. Like, I could go for a rising up air.
Yeah, which is a trade. I'm not sure.
It's not a trade if you're not doing anything. If you're going for an empty hop grab, you're not pressing a button.
Oh, yeah.
Or I could, like, up tilt, or even up smash.
But it moves back up, and on the first level, if I decide to go for a falling Nair.
Exactly. If you decide to go for a falling Nair, then you'll hit me if I don't shield. Because your Nair is enormous. And then we're back to the start.
Yeah.
That's how Yomi works. Yomi level 0 is the obvious choice. Yomi level 1 is the counter attack. Yomi level 2 is the counter to the counter. Yomi level 3 is the ballsy play, and it's the ballsy play because it usually will lose to the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Depending on the opponent you fight, they might be at a different Yomi level. They might, like a scrub, like someone who's completely new to the game, might be at Yomi level 0 and 1. The four glory master.
Go for a dash attack, for example.
Or they will, like in this case, in this specific example, they will always go for the falling Nair or the shield grab.
Yeah.
Because they always go for the falling Nair. They know what beats the falling Nair. They've experienced it enough. So, someone a level above them, the journeyman, might be on level 1 and 2. Where they have, they are able to see it coming, and they're blocking the Nair, and they know what the opponent is going for, so when they go for the situation, they're just going to do the empty hop grabs.
Yeah, come on.
Someone a level above them, a more advanced player, an intermediate player, might be on level 2 and 3. They've dealt with the situation enough to know that when you are in the air, an intermediate player, or you're going to, at this point, they've dealt with enough of this to know that when they're in the air, you're probably going to shield, and then they're going to go for the empty hop grab. And if you come at them in the air, they're expecting an intermediate level response, so they're going to anti-air you. A more advanced player is going to be on level 3 and 0. Or someone who practices a lot with top players is also going to be on level 3 and 0. Because they're expecting the ballsy play. No, they're expecting them to beat out the intermediate options, so they're going to go for the anti-airs, and they're going to go for that stuff because they're used to dealing with people who go for the ballsy plays.
Okay.
But a top player isn't going to be stuck on a Yomi level. A top player is going to use all of them and tailor himself according to his opponent, his or her opponent.
All right.
Remember that this is a tool to use. This isn't something you should swear by. You shouldn't be proud to be stuck on a Yomi level. Just like you shouldn't be proud to use a particular playstyle. Your goal should be to adapt yourself to the opponent's playstyle. If your opponent is playing passively, walling you out, you need to be playing either passively to match them, or bait and punish to beat them, or to have an advantage against them. Essentially, bait their passive options, and then punish them for doing it. Take your advantage, and then run with it.
Most of the time, I actually don't know how to bait. I would just, for example, someone who's spacing me with back airs.
Yes.
I would just go for something, an aerial, and I would actually get punished for it.
Yes,
and
exactly. Because think about what they're doing.
Catch them.
Break it down in like this. If you are rushing down your opponent, and they can see you coming from a mile away, they can react, and they can throw out the backer. So if you try to rush straight in, you're essentially slamming yourself in the face with a brick wall. You're reenacting Pickett's charge. You're in an empty clearing against someone with a gun, and you're running straight at him. It's not gonna work. You're gonna die.
For sure.
So what you need to do is you need to bait him into swinging. So, what's going to make him swing?
Approaching.
Exactly. So, you need to approach in a way so that you will not get hit by his passive options.
As weird as it sounds, sometimes when I see I'm more casually competitive.
Yes.
When someone who's walling me, sometimes I can actually outcrowd as them with that shit.
Well, if you're close enough to a point where they can't react, then it'll work. But a lot of that is for Gloria play. Sure. Tatsu is a very slow attack, so if you try that in local, it's not going to work. At that point, if they're playing passively, they're just going to block, or they're going to intercept it.
Well, that would be the ballsy play, no?
Not necessarily, no, because they're reacting to what you're doing. If you Tatsu, and I see the Tatsu, I can just block. I don't have to play Yomi against you. I know exactly what you did, and there's nothing you can do. At that point, you have committed and you are out of options.
Oh, from there, I could have done something.
Not even. You were still in lag. Tatsu has a lot of lag.
Oh, you're right. Alright.
So, moving on.
So we talked about the neutral and the space bubble we were talking about.
Yes.
I like to call it the shadow zone, where I respect the zone that my opponent has for his plays.
I usually call it the unreactable zone. I used to call it burst zone, but burst is a loaded term.
Alright.
So, anyways. Talking about these, dealing with, baiting passive opponents, because that's where you're struggling a lot. I feel like it's very important that we wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
So,
he's a slow character, so for sure he's gonna have problems about that.
I mean, no, not necessarily. You don't have to be fast in order to bait an opponent. Being fast just means that you can close the distance a little easier. You can rush down an opponent who is in your shadow zone, whatever you want to call it. Essentially,
Alright.
it means once you're close enough, you can make stuff work. So, when you approach, your opponent will react. How you put yourself in that position when you approach is what determines if it's a bait or if it's rush down. If you rush in with an offensive option, then you are rushing down. You're running straight into a brick wall and you're gonna die. If you rush in with a defensive option, then that's a bait. An example is running in with shield, running in with focus attack, also running in and then stepping out. Like, one thing that Mario can do is he can like run in and then turn around. And what that's good for is, let's say, let me give a good example of this. Stand across the stage. It's going to be hard to demonstrate because Wi-Fi, but I want you to spot dodge on reaction when I'm going to grab you. Okay?
Oh, okay.
You see how easy that was, right?
No, it was telegraphed.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to do it again, okay?
Sure.
Very easy. Now,
is it better to just roll away?
Well, for this example, I want you to spot dodge.
Alright.
Okay, so one more time.
Yeah.
That right there was a bait.
For sure. I was expecting the dash grab.
Exactly. So, doing that, you can throw off the timing of the opponent and then force a reaction out of them. And
So that's when Yomi level 2 comes in.
Not exactly. This is I mean, I guess you could categorize it as Yomi scenario, but this is just something that you should look at as a bait. Okay. I guess you could see it as that. But there's many different things that you can do in that position. Like, you might not spot dodge. Instead, you might roll. Instead, you might try to attack. Instead, you might try to get through me. So what I do is I bait, and then I react to what you do. And once I know what you do, then I can use the bait to my advantage. So, like, let's say, for example, you expect the bait and you delay the spot dodge, okay? I want you to try to do it in relation to the bait, okay?
What? Alright.
Try that one more time. Oh my god, Wi-Fi lag.
Yeah, it's really getting me as well.
You see? This Wi-Fi lag is awful right now, oh my god.
I don't blame you. Well, I actually know what you mean already.
I'm gonna get to a different concept though. Okay, so once you have the bait down, you have that. But I want you to do it again, okay?
Alright. Oh, you were going for the first one.
And that right there is the beauty of bait and punish, because even if they expect the bait, suddenly the initial option starts working. And in that way, it's very similar to Yomi. Actually, you could actually very easily categorize that situation with Yomi. But the point is, when you do this, when you create the bait, essentially, let's say I start approaching you from over here, okay? You're reacting to my approach from here, which is well outside of your reactable zone of right here.
Yeah.
If I approach you from this distance, you might be able to react, but you probably won't.
I'll probably go for...
On Wi-Fi, you definitely will.
Pilot.
Yeah, but I'm speaking, like, for the sake of example.
Yeah.
So, if I rush you down from over here, you can very easily react to it. What about if I rush you down from over here? You won't be able to react, right?
Well, from now, we'll go far down smash.
Well, for the sake of example, you won't be able to react to a dash grab from here.
At an unreactable distance, alright?
Yeah. So, the idea behind the bait here is I am turning this distance, because I'm doing the bait right here. This is what you're reacting to. If you try to react to the bait, you're reacting to what I do on this spot. And that's unreactable. So because of that, I can force you to change the reacting distance to here instead of here. And in doing so, a slow character can get in the zone of a faster... No, can do this reaction from a distance like this. Like, Mario's not the fastest character in the world, but I am making it impossible for you to react to something I do starting from here because of a bait that I do over here. Because I'm transforming my distance that you have to react to from here to here. This is something that Ryu can take advantage of.
This is something that I can use in my own playstyle.
Yeah. Like, I think you could do this exact same thing. Let me see your turnaround skid. I want you to do this, okay? Do it again.
Okay.
Hold on. Try doing this. As fast as you can. No, I want you to cancel out of the skid. Don't keep going. You have a really good skid. You can take advantage of this exact same thing. You could do the exact same thing. Here, I want you to... I'm going to react to you dash grabbing me. I want you to try the skid thing.
Yeah. No, I messed up. Would I have to do for that?
Yeah, you might be a little bit too far when you do that, but yeah.
Okay. It's a bit hard to...
On Wi-Fi, it's really hard, but yeah. But you're getting the idea. You can use this as a bait. You can position yourself differently. You could also use it to see what your opponent's going to do. Like, you can get in, put yourself out of range, and then see what your opponent does. There's like...
I usually like to just run shield, just like that.
Yeah, and that's good too. The only issue with that is if you do the same thing every time, like if you start rushing in with running shield, at that point I'm just going to dash grab you. Because then I'm going to be seeing you're playing bait and punish, and I'm going to beat it with a rush down play. By grabbing you before you can react. So it's important to mix up against adaptive opponents. But running shield is really good. It's just not
it's
always...
It's good when someone who's hardball, I think.
It's a very simple bait. And it'll get you far, but it's good to know other stuff, which is why I'm teaching you the movement stuff. That's really good. And the shield is also really good. You can get away with that a lot. Running perfect shield is fantastic. And running focused attack is also fantastic. Especially if you do dash cancel. Against an opponent that's constantly going to be running away and trying to zone you, its focused attack is fantastic. Because you can just run and then dash cancel forward and Shoryuken or something like that.
Well, no, just cancel at the wrong time.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, so we have about 7 minutes left.
Alright.
There anything you want to ask or work on before we end?
Well, this is a bit of a more unique question as you. While we were talking about the betting punisher earlier from the grab,
okay,
I was just thinking about myself from the time to time to just go for a wall of uptilts.
I mean, you could, because it has a lot of range.
It has enough of boxes, and you'd have to jump around it.
But at the same time, I could just...
outranging.
Yeah. Or I could run at you with this instead. Throw out the up tilts?
Intentionally.
Yeah. In the end, I'm using these as for the sake of example. Not necessarily for any specific situations that you need to be aware of. Because in the end, it's an approaching option. An approaching offensive option. And it could be any approaching offensive option. It could be a grab, it could be an up smash, it could be anything else. And the point is that if I rush you down with an attack and you react to it, then you win. But if I approach you with a bait and you react to it, then you lose.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get across.
Alright. It's pretty simple.
Once you're able to simplify the game like that, then it becomes a lot easier to adapt to your opponent. Because you'll be able to see them doing these things. You see, oh, he is coming at me with an offensive option. This means that I should be playing either... I should either be doing the same thing and rushing him down with an offensive option, or I should be playing passively and waiting to see what he does. Reacting to what he does.
I actually have a sparring partner sometimes. And he plays a mean sheet, like one who always outspaces any of my movements. What playstyle do I adapt against him?
If he's constantly spacing you out, then that means he's playing passive. You should be playing either passively against him or bait and punish. Or you should force him into a position where he can't play passively. Like I showed Ed. Force him to the corner.
Yeah, this is something that I think of myself as good enough to do. Simply because of my priority and, well, how you have to respect my boxes and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about one last thing before it ends. I want to talk about holding advantage.
Yeah.
So, once you take advantage, you're good at carrying people to the corner, right?
Well, for example, you're there, and I'm there. From this, I actually have a bigger advantage from what I can cover. But I actually don't do anything and just let you win the neutral from there.
Yeah. Here, let's start an encounter. I just neutral get up from ledge. I want you to trap me on ledge and keep the advantage. You see what happened there?
Yeah, I just saw one of my mistakes. After you are beat, you were already out of lag, and I just rushed in with it fair.
Exactly. No, that's a reset to neutral, and actually it's not that bad a position that I'm in. So it's not something that you want to overextend on. My up B is rather lagless. It's a Shoryuken.
Yeah.
Now, the main issue that you did started right here. When I was on ledge, you immediately went up with that. And what you're doing there is you're telegraphing yourself. You're throwing it out way before I do anything. And in doing so, I already know that if I drop off the ledge and up air, I'm going to win.
And yeah, so it goes really far compared to mine, yeah. When I'm at a disadvantage, I like to go to trade with Nair and reset the neutral.
Okay, but when you're trading, you're resetting neutral. What you're doing there is you're turning an advantage into neutral. You don't want that.
Yeah, this is one of my...
Let me tell you a little something. When you're in this position, you don't need to take initiative. Your opponent's options are limited. You can cover those options by reacting to them. Well, it's a little harder on Wi-Fi. You're a Wi-Fi warrior, so this is why you're bad at this. If you were a local player, you'd be a lot better at this. In Wi-Fi, you get rewarded by anticipating your opponent's options. And in order to anticipate, you have to observe. So we're going to talk about observing your opponent. What are your opponent's tendencies? What are their habits? Why do they do the things they do? Let's say you're standing there. What do you think your opponent's going to do if you're standing there?
Well, I can... Usually, when I see this position, I try to be ready for the jump. Because the rest is actually reactable.
Well...
That's what it is.
Would you say neutral getup is reactable?
Well, not really, but it puts him already in a bad position that I can actually take advantage of.
Yeah.
Like if he shields, I can actually dash grab.
And the jump, meanwhile, I can get over your head and potentially get back on stage.
And this is when I try to cover. I try to cover that.
Now, why would he go for jump?
Because I'm actually here, and if he goes jump backward, I have to commit to it.
Okay. Why wouldn't he go for roll?
Because I'm actually here. If I put myself in, he could actually roll. But...
Okay, good. That's exactly the answer I was looking for. So,
usually, it's preferable to just stand there. If he goes for neutral get up, it's fine.
Yeah, you're still trapping him
him.
at the ledge, and you're good. And if you are in local play, you could dash grab him, and there wouldn't be anything you could do about it.
Yeah. Well, what if instead of shielding the neutral get up, they go for a jab?
Then, well,
And I go for
it depends on the character.
yeah. With little nuggets instead of jumps.
Honestly, if I was in this position against you, I would most likely jump. But if you're jumping, I will neutral get up. Because at that point, you lost the ability to dash grab. You don't have to jump. Unless you're trying to throw out a lingering aerial.
If the opponent decides to jump, well, alright, I'll let him jump. I think I would go for it. Well,
yeah, the goal there, when the opponent jumps, is you want to either catch their landing or you want to intercept them in the air. You're pretty good at doing that. You have your active hitboxes, like your up air. You have your nair if they get close to the ground. You have your fireball in order to catch their landing. You can run up and Shoryuken their landing almost. You could run up and perfect shield them and do whatever the heck you want, like down tilt out of the perfect shield. Or you can focus attack. Like, let's say I try to jump over you and I try to back air you. You run under me, you focus attack, you dash cancel, and then you down tilt. You win.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's how you keep the advantage.
And well,
now,
I don't think I've seen myself doing that earlier. Can you tell me what did I do in a situation similar like this earlier?
Well, in this situation, you would constantly you would overextend. Like, for example, the first time that we started, you got up on ledge and you just immediately started doing up tilts, hoping that I would get up, and in doing so, you let me see exactly what you're gonna do, and you let me get back on ledge. Like right now, I just got a good chunk of damage, more damage than you got on me, and we reset to neutral.
No.
If I get put on ledge again, then, well, let's say I jump. Right there, I back air. You could have perfect shielded, focus attack, down tilt. You, like, there's so many things you could do in order to cover me there. And then you put me on the other ledge. And at that point, I can either do the same thing, or I can, like, if you're short hopping though, then you give me the opportunity to get back on ledge. That's an option that I didn't have before. And at that point, then I can start fighting you off. I would not advise short hopping in that position. There's no reason for you to do it. Because
so
if
the best option is just standing there waiting
just
for
standing there, yes.
Something.
Because watch, I can't get up attack you.
No, you get punished.
I can't drop off as an aerial because you can react to that.
For sure.
I can't do fancy Mario tricks very easily, like
K back air.
Yeah. You'd have to respect it. Like, I can do it because it allows me to do things like this. That was Wi-Fi lag. I was supposed to turn around and shit. Or like this. But those are big risks. That turns it into a 50-50 that's not in my favor.
Well...
And either way, you could react to that. You could just shield.
What are the options if I go for shield when you do the K? You can just land back and tomahawk?
Yes. If you respect me too much, then I can just empty hop grab. But at the same time, you can anticipate that, and you can, like, roll, or, like, throw out an anti, or throw out something that I have to respect. If, at that point, like, your up tilt makes your upper body intangible, so your hard up tilt, so you could just do that.
Well, not this, but I don't know.
Alternatively, you could put space. Like, what I would do if I were in your position is I would put space and then then forward smash. Because if I overcommit to try to do this, there's nothing I could do there except up B. I'm just dead. What I do sometimes when I'm playing as Mario in that position is I would do this. Like,
to bait me into doing the forward smash.
Yeah, and at that point I get back on stage. You still have advantage, but I have ways to move. And that's the goal. I'm trying to slowly get back my advantages. I'm not trying to take advantage from here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're pretty much out of time. But that's the basic idea of reactive ledge trapping. Once you know what the opponent's going to do, you can start conditioning them the way that I told Ed about conditioning. Were you there for that part of the lesson?
For the ledge traps, I actually get it. I have one last question.
What's up?
We already talked about it earlier, but I didn't seem to get it that much when you talk about someone playing passive and me. What are the options I can do against that?
Well, against a passive player, you would generally want to also play passive, or play bait and punish.
Having him approach me.
If you have a better passive game than your opponent, then you can just play passive and get away with it. Like just walking around, waiting, playing reactively against him, and then if he lashes out, then you can like perfect shield and combo off of it. Or focus attack, or like just throw out a hitbox that beats his. You know, play footsies.
Yeah, this is what my character does best.
Exactly. Especially the new game. You got a backdash. That's going to be beautiful.
I'm so happy for that.
So, beyond that, you could also prevent your opponent from playing passive. Like, baiting their passive options and pushing into the ledge with a bait and punish playstyle. Like,
right.
if you're playing passively, and I want you to stop playing passively, then I'm going to start baiting you and seeing what you do. And if you back off because you're playing passively and trying to make space between me and you, then you're going to be pushed towards the corner slowly. And if you're not, because you're like lashing out with something, then at that point, you got baited and I can easily punish you.
I know I'm out of time, but can I request like one last neutral stuff? Just so I can see if I actually got over that stuff.
Sure. Alright, I'm gonna go all out for this one.
Alright.
Nice. If there wasn't Wi-Fi lag there, you would have died.
Oh damn.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with what you do now. That was it.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
That was a little better.
I saw 2 times where I actually gave back the neutral to you.
Mm-hmm. And right there, because you're seeing those times, that tells me you've already improved a lot. Because now, instead of being full-on autopilot, you're actually thinking about your opponent. You're actually thinking about your relationship in the match. You're no longer playing a single-player game. And that already tells me that just in mindset, you've improved tremendously.
Alright.
Keep this up. Keep working on it. Don't let it slip. Practice this. Practice thinking in the match. Catch yourself when you're on autopilot. And
I think I need to catch a local.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, even playing on Wi-Fi, you can learn a lot. You can learn all of this on Wi-Fi. Nothing that I've told you is local exclusive.
Well, I actually saw a lot of videos about neutral play and stuff like that. And most of the time after that, I had a good mindset going, only to lose it soon after going brain dead. to someone who plays for glory lane, for example.
Yeah. No, when you get frustrated, sometimes you do slip. But the important thing is to catch yourself when you're slipping. Like, one thing that I've been using to catch myself, for example, is me and Nico both had this tendency, once upon a time, where when we lose a stock and the opponent's at high percent, we turn on Smash Art and rush the opponent down recklessly. And I used that as a trigger to tell myself, hold on, I'm on autopilot. And then I turn off Smash Art and reset to neutral. To forcibly center myself. And I play a lot better after that.
Alright.
If you can find tricks like that for yourself, then that's going to help a lot to get you thinking the way you need to do. And eventually, once you start learning the fundamentals really well, once you start understanding the way the game flows and works and what beats what and where everything works and why, the most important thing is why, then even your autopilot will become good. And even if you do follow the autopilot, you're not going to lose.
It makes me remember Armada when he streams practices against computer and just autopilots on it, even in high-level players. Okay. I actually think I learned a couple of things from this. We can actually close it down for now.
Alright. Well, the VOD will be up for 2 weeks. I'm going to be uploading the VODs after I finish uploading all the other VODs. I need to just find some time to get around to that. And the notes will be hopefully ready for you soon. But thanks so much for the support, for the $20 donation, and I'll talk to you later, alright?
Alright, okay.
Take care. So for those of you in the chat, this was a lesson done for a $20 donation. If you're interested in a lesson like this, please let me know. If you have any questions about anything that just happened, feel free to ask in the chat. I'm probably going to be shutting down the stream pretty soon because it is getting kind of late. And I do have to finish writing the notes for Ed and HM. But it's good. I haven't been able to stream like this in a while, so I'm really happy that I got a chance to do this again. I'm finally feeling up to it. No problem, man. Really glad to help, and thank you so much for the support.